All right. I would say we're live. Welcome to episode 2 of Game of Thrones spoilers, or Game of Spoilers, as we like to call it. I am one of your hosts, Anita, also known as Pixie Dust Cosplay, and with me I have my fellow co-host Tonje, who's still on a bathroom break, and Sunniva's dog has also decided to.
One really angry dog.
Yes, apparently. Did you see a bird?
No.
No, okay.
He thought he heard someone come in, but there's no one here, so I guess we have ghosts.
Maybe you have ghosts. That could be it.
That could be. It could be.
It could be. Okay. So, yes.
Yes. I'm just gonna go and smack his bottom. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna go and give him some things to chew on so he won't keep interrupting us.
Keep him distracted.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, welcome to everyone who's watching. Let's see. This is, of course, our Game of Thrones spoiler show, and we will be talking about episode 2 of season 7 of Game of Thrones today. Sunniva has prepared a little summary of the episode, so we're going to get into that as soon as she's back from distracting her dog. So, there she is. So, we'll be able to get started soon.
Pow!
Pow. Good.
Yes, Alex, doggies.
All right. So, I'm not going to, keep distracting people anymore. I'm going to let you get right into it because you're the boss today.
Thank you. Game of Thrones is my thing. No, just kidding. Welcome to Game of Spoilers. Today's episode, we're going to talk about the Stormborn episode.
Yes.
And right at the get-go, it's a really, really dark and sinister scene with a big storm. And we can see that we are at
Dragonstone.
Dragonstone, thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, what am I talking about? Dragonstone. And we get right to a scene with Daenerys talking to her crew. In this scene also, we can kind of see that Daenerys is kind of agitated. She is very, very impatient, and she is really hungry to get that Iron Throne. Let's go get it. And what do we think of this scene? She also kind of, put Varys on the spot for a minute there.
Yeah, she really let him hear it. I think maybe she needed to get that out there, like, why should I fucking trust you? You've betrayed several monarchs in the past, kind of thing.
And also we kind of get confirmed what we talked a little about last episode, about Varys being like the lord of the people. He just chooses whatever the people would choose, and I think he got to say this in a really, really nice way.
Yeah, I think he got to defend himself really well. I think he convinced her that he's on the side of the people.
He convinced me.
Yes. Yeah. Also, we could see a little bit of that kind of Mad King vibe behind Dany, because she was like, okay, I'm going to burn you alive if you ever backstab me.
Don't fuck with me, Varys. Basically.
Yeah, I think she's had enough of people backstabbing her.
Yeah, and especially since he has been one of the people who kind of has backstabbed her in the past, not just once, but several times.
Yeah, but he kind of did that on the orders of Robert Baratheon, though. Like, the king commanded, send assassins and kill this girl, and Varys didn't really know anything about Daenerys beyond the fact that she existed at that point, so...
Yeah, and he still did what was best for himself and the people.
Yes, absolutely.
Like any sane person would.
Yes.
Yes.
I think, sad as it may be, Varys might just be one of the most sane people out there in the show.
And he's funny too. I really like Varys. I would be really sad if he were to die or to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he doesn't really do anything to threat anyone anyway. He's just there being sassy. And also, before we move on to the next scene, I just want to talk a little bit more about Daenerys' dress, because that dress, oh my god, I can't emphasize it enough. But have you noticed that it kind of looks like a dragon? The dress itself looks like a dragon when you see it in front of it.
Yeah, it's like sculpted.
I didn't really notice that, but I noticed that she had some scale-like ornaments on her shoulders.
Yeah. But if you take a closer look, or not a closer look, you should look at from afar. You can kind of see like she has this cape thing that looks like wings, and it has these scales that sort of looks like the horns of some sort, and then it goes down in this sharp V, and it just resembles like a dragon in a dress form, I would say.
Yeah, I just want all of Dani's dresses, like hands down.
Oh yeah,
she has like the best wardrobe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my dog just, he has been all quiet all day, but right now when we start streaming, he just decided to be a big asshole. Yeah. And then the scene it gets cut short because...
They're interrupted.
They are interrupted. There is a red priestess from Ashai there to speak with Dani, and who might that be?
Yeah, gee, I wonder, who's that?
Finally, my main girl, Melisandre, makes her entrance.
Basically, I feel like she was there like, hey, have you heard about this guy, Jon Snow? He's pretty great.
Yes. But she doesn't mention him until after a while, though. But this makes at least Daenerys aware of Jon Snow and his existence. Just excuse me for a while. I'll just have to go and do something about that dog.
Yeah. But Living Turquoise is saying in the chat that he thinks Daenerys looked great in that dress. My designer heart died for it.
Yeah, but I also want to point out something I thought was kind of cool, and that was when they were around the war table, and both I forgot the names, both of the ladies standing there.
Oh, but that's in another scene, because they're not there in the first scene, I don't think.
Yes, they're in the scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Right in the first scene.
Yeah.
When they're discussing tactics on how to get the Iron Throne. When both of the other women just like, oh, we have to attack this and then attack that, and oh, we should do this and do that, and
oh no, that's not
that's later. That's later. The first scene is without Olenna and the lady from Dorne and all of that. That comes in another scene.
We're coming to that.
Yes, we're getting there.
Yes. It's true. I've seen the episode 3 times. 3 times. I know it in and out. Anyway, the Red Priestess of Ashai comes in.
Yeah.
And what I kind of feel a bit about this is that Melisandre is, for the first time ever in this series, she's hesitant.
Yeah, like she's almost meek.
She seems like it, because she's not really liked anywhere at this point.
No. And we can't blame people for not liking her. She burned a little girl on a fire.
What do you mean?
What are you talking about?
I totally agree. But she gets the note, or Dani says that a red priestess is always, or a priestess of the Lord of Light or whatever, is always welcome here with me. So I guess Melisandre has found a spot to stay.
For now, at least.
For now. We'll see. And she also talks about the prince who was promised prophecy, which we've known a lot about from the earlier seasons.
Yeah, because she thought that was Stanley Baratheon, but Stanley is dead, so that's not going to happen.
Yes. And then she thought about Jon Snow, I think. But then she was shunned from the north. And Missandei actually says that in High Valyrian, that verb does not have a gender. So it could be a princess.
Could be a princess. So,
what do you guys think? Do you think it might be Dani, or?
I'm thinking Jon Snow.
It's hard
He's
to say.
the promised one.
Well, I mean, they both. I mean, both Dani and Jon, are characters who are they're basically good people. They're kind of heart, and that's also often why they get into a lot of trouble, because they don't make a lot of the tougher decisions that a lot of other characters do in the show. And they're both Targaryen, although they don't know that.
No, but we don't really know that, though. It's implied. It's heavily implied, but we don't know.
No, not for sure. But I mean, that's my thought, at least. I'm pretty sure that Jon is a Targaryen / Stark.
Yeah.
So it's Targaryen.
Or he can also be a Baratheon, because Robert Baratheon was really fond of Lyanna Stark as well. And, Baratheon children have black hair, black eyes.
Yeah, but then you have Gendry. We haven't seen a lot of him, and he's still alive. He is definitely one of Robert Baratheon's bastards.
Yes, but he might not be a bastard after all.
No.
He can be Cersei's boy.
Could, but I don't think so.
He can be, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, Living Turquoise says, burn the witch.
Yes. I am also thinking that Melisandre is possibly going to die this season.
Yeah.
I am almost certain, because she has served her purpose. What more has she to do? Because she's not the only one to raise the dead. We have
Beric Dondarrion and the Thoros of Myr, the Brotherhood with no banner.
Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of sad, but I think Melisandre will, die at some point during this season.
It's kind of sad, because I think she's a very cool character. She's interesting, even though she's made some very questionable decisions as of late.
Oh, well, she is a religious fanatic after all, so...
Yes. All right, moving on.
Then we have the scene with Jon, Sansa, and Davos, where they receive notes from Tyrion, who says that Daenerys wants Jon to come to Dragonstone to bend the knee.
Mm-hmm.
That's so funny, because now he has 2 queens who wants him to bend the knee.
Yeah. Serve me! No, me! Oh, make up your minds.
Yeah. And I really love the discussion in this scene, because Sansa and Jon and Davos, they have this really respectful discussion amongst each other. It's not like, I am the king, I will decide. It's really nice, and we also saw that last episode.
Yeah.
But there's not really much that happens right now, because they're gonna discuss this a bit later when he receives another note.
What I do want to say is that Davos as a character I'm quite fond of, actually. He's like an equalizer. He just keeps people grounded and level whenever he's around.
Yeah, and I would be really sad if he were to die. Yeah. Because he's not one of those really, really important characters. He can die, and that's what makes it so scary.
Yes. It's always scary.
Yeah. And then we have the scene with Cersei working hard to try to get allies. She has rounded up all the Tyrell bannermen, I believe, and she's trying to cast shade upon Daenerys and Olenna's choice to bring the...
Yeah, no tea, no shade, no pink lemonade.
Because Cersei is talking about... just the way she kind of words herself. She says that Daenerys, she is the one who crucified noblemen in Meereen, and when she got bored of that, she fed them to the dragons. It's like, that's not really what happened, but it's still...
No, she's trying to paint a really bad picture, like, oh, Daenerys Targaryen is a barbarian, and look, she did that to them, she'll definitely do that to you.
Yeah, and bad Olenna Tyrell, who brought the Dothraki to the shores of the Seven Kingdoms, and the Dothraki, they are sure to rape your children, because that's what Dothraki heathens do. She just used all these words just to try to really, really paint a bad picture of Dany.
She's totally doing a Trump.
Yes.
Yeah.
Propaganda.
Yeah, Cersei is Trump of Westeros, sort of.
And then we have the scene with Jaime and Sir Tarly. No, not Sir, but what's
Lord
his name?
Tarly.
yeah, doesn't matter.
Because it's Sam's dad, basically.
Yeah, it's Samuel's dad. And the opening scene, it had me gagging because Jamie's like, "What's your name, boy? Was it Rickard or Rickard?" And he's like, "No, Dickard." I was like, "No, no, no." Why did they have to include that?
Yeah, maybe bad choice of name. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to inject some humor into an otherwise pretty grim episode.
Yeah, it might be, but it's also because it's like the second time they will bring up, or this is the first time they will bring up, I think his call is Rickard Stark, the grandfather of Sansa and Jon, and he was killed by the Targaryens. We will, they will have a reference of this later.
Yeah. But I think it's Rickard.
Yes. So it's a conspiracy around that, but I'm not really sure what that's about. But I just think they try to just include stuff that will make people go, "Wow, that was cool." But Jamie, we can clearly see that Jamie is really, really trying hard as well to sway the Tarly to get him on his side. Like, and I just, what were you going to say?
I was just going to look how charming I can be.
Yeah, and I really like one of the things that Tarly says, because he's like, "I'm a Tarly. That name has meaning. We are not oath breakers and schemers. We don't stab our rivals in the back or cut their throats at weddings." So I kind of like that statement. Jamie comes back and says, like, "Yeah, but you also have sworn an oath to the Queen." When he asks him to abandon his banners with the Tyrells.
Yeah,
I'm thinking either they're going to, remain neutral because they have oaths to both parties, or I hope that they side with Olenna.
We could surely hope so, but it's not really. It doesn't look like it at the moment.
No. It's hard because I don't like Sam's dad. He's an asshole, but I can respect that he's a man of his word, like a man of oath.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, we will see if that Lannister charm has something to say or not. Yeah. But they surely did work hard to get them on their side,
because they're desperate. They really need allies. Like we touched upon that in the last episode. And Cersei is not doing well when it comes to like how many people she has on her side.
The Cersei is scary.
Yes.
And I think it's well known what her wrath can do, and also has done. So people might side with her just because they're scared. Just like what happened in Winterfell with the Boltons. So do we think that the Lannisters will get at least some on their side?
I think they will. Some of the Bannermen will stay, mostly because they're terrified of Cersei.
Yes.
And wouldn't want to be called oath breakers and all of that. But there may be some desertions depending on how the war goes in the future. Is my thinking, at least.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I don't really want to think anything.
Then we have the scene with Jorah, Sam, and the Archmaester in Jorah's room. They're just, doing their stuff, keeping the patient happy. I don't know, trying at least.
Well, they're like giving Jorah like a medical inspection, I suppose you could say.
Yeah. And Sam is trying really hard to show off his skills to his Archmaester, and he gets shut down every time he tries to say something. And I feel like Jorah, he just looks really broken at this point. He doesn't really seem like the same guy that he used to be.
No. Because he thinks he's going to die, poor man.
Yeah, and the Archmaester is like, "Yeah, normally I would send you away, but since you're an ignited knight,
anointed knight.
But yeah, an anointed knight. You can stay for another day, and then he just looks at his sword, and Jorah looks at his sword, and we're like, okay, is Jorah gonna kill himself?
Yeah, is he going to die?
No, I didn't think he would kill himself.
Well, it looked like he was about to, because he was like, later on in the episode, he is writing a letter to Daenerys and looking at his sword, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah,
this is also where Sam learned his name.
Yes,
and Sam knew Jorah's dad.
Yeah,
from the Wall.
Lord Knight Commander Mormont.
Yes. And he was the one who owned the sword that Jon Snow now has.
Yes, Longclaw.
Yes. All right, let's move on, because there's a lot of like small scenes that isn't that significant just yet, but they will become more significant later. Yes. Cersei, and is his name Pycelle? Because I kind of think it is, but I'm not sure.
I think Master Pycelle was the guy before this one, the old guy.
Maybe.
But
What's this guy's name?
I can't remember. What is his name?
He's a maester.
Yeah.
The maester of King's Landing.
Because there was Aemon, but he was the maester at the Night's Watch.
Yes.
And Master Pycelle. And then I don't remember what this new guy is named.
Anyway, Cersei is in the crypt with the dragon bones. And the cellar and the crypt thing is still not dirty. It seems like nobody has been down there for a while. It's not dirty. It doesn't look like anything has been moved. And if someone has been down there, there should have been like, footprints and drag marks and stuff. But there's nothing. It's so clean.
It's very tidy, at least.
Yes. And this kind of annoyed me a bit, but yeah.
But I mean, no one goes down there. All they use that for is to store the dragon skulls that used to belong to the Targaryen family. And Robert just put them there because he didn't want them staring at him in the throne room, making him look small and
Yes, but then the Maester shows Cersei this bow and arrow machine. I don't know what they're called.
Well, I guess ballista or trebuchet or something like that. I don't remember. It's a big ass crossbow, basically.
Yes, and she gets to try it, and this is like a Joffrey moment for sure when he shoots the deer in his room. Yeah,
it's like when he got his crossbow and like
I was like, oh no. She's gonna ruin the beautiful dragon skull. No.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. But
yeah,
I mean that was a pretty awesome dragon skull.
It was
amazing.
It was.
Is it Valerian the Dreads? Something.
Valerian or Valerian the Dread. VRB.
I want to have a dragon skull in my room now.
Well, you can make one out of Warbler or something. That shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, well, I'm not good at making dragons. At least drawing dragons. So I guess making them would be just as hard. But
I have a drawing book you can borrow from me, which is called "How to Draw Dragons and Those Who Slay Them."
Ah, cool.
Yes.
There you go.
I want to draw dragons. I want to make dragon head.
Yes. Sounds like a good plan.
But that brings me to the question. Tonje, you had a prediction last time. So does this mean that you will be right and one of your dragons or more would actually die?
I mean, the way that big ass arrow pierced the dragon's skull, a big grown-up dragon skull, I think so. Because her Daenerys dragons are babies compared to that dragon skull.
Well, this is true, but also that dragon skull was dead and lying still, and I think it's a little bit harder to hit a dragon in aerial combat. But I am nervous for her dragons now. I am.
Yeah. I think at least one of them will get seriously injured.
Yeah, because they were talking about when I don't know the name, the black dragon got injured in the fight in the arena.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that dragon scales also in Game of Thrones are harder and like really, really hard material as it is in every other fantasy genre story ever.
Yeah, the scales would probably offer some more protection.
Yeah, it's not.
then it was, but the dragon got, injured by hand-thrown spears. This is a very much stronger, bigger spear with much more force behind it. So if it gets hit, I don't think it might survive it.
It's hard to say, but I mean, the dragon, when it got hit in the arena, was on the ground. And it was staying by Daenerys to keep her safe. So if it's flying, it's going to be harder.
Behind the projectile.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
And also, I don't remember which part of the dragon's body got hit, because I would imagine like it has weaker points than others.
Yeah, like the belly and things like that.
Yeah,
maybe the sinew from the wings.
Yeah, maybe.
Are quite more less.
Yeah, I understand what you mean. Living Turquoise says that scene was maybe to show also that that Joffrey got his madness, his craziness from Cersei, because they both like crossbows and violence.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, he's like an inbred kid. Yeah. Also.
They get weird.
They get weird.
Yeah, they have more more likelihood to get crazy or weird.
Yeah.
My language is off today.
Yeah, I can hear that. But that's okay. We understand what you're trying to say.
I'm very tired. I've been cleaning my kitchen for several hours and making dinner and having guests. I'm very tired.
Yeah, that's
fine. But then, dear Eniasia, we have the scene with the war table and all the arguing. So if you want to talk about that, go ahead.
Yes. Well, the thing I really liked was the way Tyrion kind of just stepped up and shut everyone down by, this is how we do it, this is why, and this is how it's going to be done, and blah blah blah. Now they were like, I'm in. I loved it.
Well, before that, everybody was arguing and everybody was saying smack about each other, and Daenerys were like, boom, rah. And then Tyrion came in, because Daenerys, she isn't really a talker. She's just like a bottomless pile of emotion and wrath, I would say.
She's a kid though, ain't she like 17 or something?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's that young still.
I think she was 16, according to the books. She was 16 when she got married to Khal Drogo or something. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's gone a year or so. So 17. I mean, of course, she's a juvenile, so she's bound to have lots of big dark emotions.
Well, I mean, once again, in this scene, we are reminded that Daenerys does not want to be like a violent and bloody monarch. She doesn't want the people to suffer. She doesn't want to attack and rule the ashes.
She doesn't want to follow her father's footsteps, I guess.
But what's funny with this scene, actually, is that Tyrion reminds her, you don't want to be the Queen of the Ashes in the start of the episode.
Yeah.
And now, again, she says to the others, as if it's her idea, I don't want to be the Queen of the Ashes. So it's like she has to be controlled by someone. She needs someone like Tyrion to just keep her back.
Yeah, and I think that because she's so young, she's easily not corrupted, but swayed.
Yeah, she's impressionable.
Yeah, because there she is talking to two more experienced ladies who wants her to, push on, go get the Iron Throne right away, and then of course Tyrion has to, rein her in and just remind her that this is not who you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think she was going to do that anyway, because she's been that way since Meereen. Like, don't make the people suffer. But
even then she got easily influenced by others around her.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
she does.
Yeah, for sure. She's very insecure at times, which I can completely understand. Being so young and being a queen and trying to take back a country from scratch, basically.
But what do we think about Olenna? Do we think Olenna really wants to see Daenerys on the throne? Or do we think that she just want to push her to actually go and kill Cersei?
I don't think Olenna cares if Daenerys rules or not.
Well, she did want to have an audience with her alone.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, like you kind of hinted to, that she only wants Cersei to pay for what she did to her granddaughter, making Daenerys attack Cersei, kill Cersei, and then she doesn't really care anymore. That's why she's telling her to be a dragon, not a sheep, or something.
Yeah.
I think so too. I think Olenna has seen that Daenerys will try to conquer Westeros and will, in that process, kill, or at least attempt to kill Cersei. So she'll probably try to go that route for those reasons. And I don't think she really cares about Daenerys at all.
No, me neither. I don't really think. I just think that now, in her old days, she just want to see the other ones like just do whatever, and she kind of relates to this as if it was some sort of TV show. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, or a bystander.
Olenna is puppet master.
Yes, she's the puppet master. She's very crafty. And like she says, I have known a lot of clever men, and I have outlived them all. And do you know why? Because I ignore them.
Yes, but that's also the thing, though, because what I said earlier, that Tyrion stated something to Daenerys, and Daenerys said exactly what Tyrion said when she talked to the whole table. And then we see at the end of the scene, Olenna is like, he's quite clever, that hand of yours. You shouldn't listen to clever men. That's why I have outlived them all, and they're sheep, and blah, blah, blah. So it's like she tries to make Daenerys and Tyrion's relationship a bit like further apart.
Yeah,
because now they're really close.
Trying to, undermine his council or something.
Yeah. Because I think she's trying to push Daenerys to make decisions that will be more in Olenna's favor than anything else.
And that kind of, because I like Olenna, but I know she's a sneaky lady, so it's hard to say if she does this out of a place of concern for Daenerys, or if she does this purely out of her own gain.
Yeah, I think kind of for her own gain. I think she's so broken and heartbroken, that is, after Marjorie and and how she died, and what Marjorie had to endure under Cersei and stuff like that. So I don't now she's blind to the fact that this is a very young girl, just about the same age as her own granddaughter, that she's trying to push into killing Cersei just because of revenge, and
Yeah. We should also probably mention Ellaria and Yara Greyjoy.
Yeah, because we get to hear their whole war plans at this meeting, which basically is that
people die. That's what wars are all about. It's pretty much what Ellaria Sand says.
Yes.
If you don't have the stomach for it, then you should leave or whatever.
Yeah. And then they explain their big master plan, because there's a lot of arguing here, because these people don't really like each other, but they have to work together to get Cersei.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's big plan, or Dany, as it might seem, but it's Tyrion who kind of tells it, is that Yara and Theon Greyjoy should escort what's her name? What's her face?
Ellaria.
Thank you, Ellaria, to her homeland, so they can bring her army and the Greyjoy army to the
to King's Landing.
King's Landing.
Yeah.
And then the Tyrell army should also attack King's Landing, and then everyone fights over that for a little while, because what should Daenerys's army do then? Yeah,
and then they reveal that they will be sending the Dothraki and the what's their names again? The Unsullied. Yeah, they're sending the Unsullied and the Dothraki to the Lannister homestead, Casterly Rock.
And yes, I'm like, yes! I would really love to see that scene. And I think that would be one I'm saying one of the big fighting scenes
Yeah.
in the next episode for sure.
Yeah, I would like to hope so, but it has to be said, by the end of this episode, things are starting to look a little shaky for that plan, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah, but I think they will attack either way because most actions happen simultaneously. Sorry, that was a hard word.
but the thing is that the Dothraki and the Unsullied won't be able to make it to Casterly Rock without the Greyjoy fleet. And what happens later is, when Euron.
But how though? Because they don't mention anything about them needing the fleet.
Well, because they have to travel upriver to get to Casterly Rock. They have to most likely travel by boat. I mean, they could try to send the Dothraki and the Unsullied overland and get to Casterly Rock, but
yeah, they have horses and they're very, very, very good at walking. So
maybe we'll just have to wait and see. All right.
Next scene, because this one. All right, let's see. We have some people in the chat saying stuff.
Yes.
Because Alex also thinks that it's for Olena's own gain. She just seems like she wants as much chaos as possible. Yeah. True. We agree totally on that one.
And and we're also very sad that this is a shorter season than usual.
Yes, we are. But that means that a lot more stuff will happen every episode.
Yes, I think that's true.
Much more stuff to talk about.
Not a lot of filler episodes.
But now, the first sex scene of the season.
Yes.
It's between Missandei and Grey Worm.
Yeah.
It was too long for my liking, but hey.
You know what? I talked about it with my hubby today, and we both agreed that we didn't really feel like that sex scene was necessary. Like, they could have just, kissed, and that would have been enough. It could have stopped there. They didn't have to go into the whole sex thing. Because, I mean, I can understand why they chose to have it. Like, it's a big step for their characters. It's a very big character development thing. Being emotional and fragile and showing each other's weaknesses and all of that. But I think that just the kiss would have been enough, because that is a big step for both Grey Worm and for Missandei, I think.
Yes, and also, like, they could have, like, just hinted that they were off to take off their clothes and all that stuff. They didn't really have to do it, but since it is Game of Thrones, and what I really, really feel like is that the first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones, there's a lot of boobs, there's a lot of wieners, there's a lot of sex, and there's a lot of, like, body, and they're just showing it in your face. And the latest seasons, I feel like they have less and less and less and less of this type of scenes. So now I'm feeling like they just put it in there just because it is Game of Thrones, and it's kind of, people expect it.
Yeah, no, I think it felt like it wasn't necessary. Living Turquoise says, is it bad of me for saying that it was a bad and awkward scene? No, I don't think so. It was a little bit awkward.
It was I think that was the point of it,
I
too,
think so.
Because both of them probably are virgins.
Probably. Oh, well, I mean, Missandei could have been, abused sexually by her former masters. We don't know. And, of course, Grey Worm has been, Kendall landscaped down there, I guess we could say. I couldn't find a better way of saying that.
It's fine.
Yeah. No, so yeah. I mean, I understand the sentiment. I understand the thought behind that scene, but I think it could have been executed better.
Agreed.
Yeah. It was worth taking episode for it to have any purpose, I think.
Yeah, because I mean, on the big scale, it's not going to make a big difference. This was just character development.
Yeah, but this is what I feel like, because this is the only thing that I find logical, and that is that this scene, they talk a lot about Grey Worm's only weakness, which is Missandei.
Yeah.
And he has never had a weakness before. He doesn't know how that feels. And this is his first one. And he's just about to go into war. And because they had this big scene with them like finally kissing and stuff like that, that might mean that he might not come back home.
That's what I was thinking too. I
Yeah.
thought that this is a ploy to make us emotionally invested in their relationship, so it'll hurt more when one of them dies.
Exactly. So that's what I'm kind of scared of, because I like Grey Worm. I really like his journey into becoming a person.
Yeah.
And not just a
killing machine.
Yeah, a doll almost. But there was one thing that really got me wondering about this episode, and all that lacing that Miss Sunday has.
Yeah,
on her
how
dress?
did she just open up her dress like that?
But the thing is, like, all the holes, it has like it's just like
string.
No, but yeah, she does drag in a string, but it's like the string is attached to all the holes in the thing. I'm really bad at words now. It was really hard to explain. Yeah. But it's logical, but I'm like, why would you design something like that? That's only to make it really, really cool when you take off your clothes.
Yeah, because I mean, if that was a real life dress, she would have been standing there for like half a minute just unlacing herself.
Yeah, but it's designed to go fast. That's the thing, because it's not relacing. If you watch it again, it's not lacing, because I had to go back and watch it again, because I'm like, what? How did you do that? Is that magic? But it's not. It's designed that way.
So she was expecting a little bit of hanky-panky maybe when she came there.
Yeah. Or it's just designed that way to make it easier to get, off and on. Not just for sex, but for normal day wear, because, you do take it off anyway when you go to bed and when you have to wash it and things.
Turquoise says that the makers are shady, trying to get us more emotional.
Yeah. All right, next one. Sam and the Archmaester again, picking books at the library. And this I enjoyed because, or I'm going to get to the part that I enjoyed soon. But the first thing that we see is that they pick out a book, and the Archmaester is like, this might be useful someday, and it is an history of the House of Lannister. Yeah. That's the book that it picks out.
But that's because he's writing the history of the war after Robert Baratheon's death.
No. The chronicles of the wars following the death of King Robert I.
Yes, exactly. So that's what he's using it for, most likely.
Yeah, but do you guys realize what that is? Do you guys really not realize what that is?
I'm not sure what you're talking about right now, but
the chronicles of the wars following the death of King Robert I. That is Game of Thrones.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is A Song of Fire and Ice.
Yes,
and Sam is like, I would have called it something more poetic. And I'm like, Song of Fire and Ice.
All right, I didn't think about that. You're clever.
Because I've been looking for them this time around. I'm sorry, my dog's being an asshole.
That's okay. Very smart though.
But what do we think about this? Because Sam won't give up all his. He's trying so hard to tell the Archmaester about all these things that he has to figure out about stonemen and how to treat it, and grayscale and stuff like that. And he's just shut down all the time.
Yeah, he's kind of like, Sensei, notice me.
Yes.
Point, notice me.
Yeah, that is very true. Because he really wants to be seen, and he really wants to be at a higher level than he is. So then he decides to just sneak into Jorah's room while he is writing a letter to Khaleesi and looking at the sword. And I think that if Sam would have been like just minutes later, maybe Jorah would have killed himself already.
Yeah, I think that was what he was about to do when Sam came in. Because he had finished his letter, he was looking at his sword, and then in comes Sam. So, yeah.
And Sam has suddenly kind of found just this weird place of courage in himself. He did this the last episode too.
He does that from time to time. Find this weird moments of courage to do stuff.
Yeah, it's like really really weird to me, but he wants to help. He wants things to change, and he wants to be able to change, because I think that he has felt so when he was up at the wall, he wasn't able to help anyone. He couldn't do anything. But now, after helping Gilly and killing a White Walker, he knows that he can, and he's not afraid to push limits to actually do things.
And he knows that he's trying to save the world. Poor fella. Like,
yes.
It's like I just need to do something, anything.
I think it's really fun when Jorah is like, "Have you ever done this before?" And he's like, "No."
No.
But he sounds so professional, and he's like, "Hey, bite this. I'm gonna do this." And
if you scream, they'll stop us, and then we're both, screwed.
And I just find it really funny when you see Sam like carving.
Yeah.
He's working that grayscale.
Yeah. And all that gooey yellow pus that comes out, it was gross.
I mean, we're used to it.
Yeah, we're used to it, but it was gross.
And then after the pussy stuff, then the pussy soup,
It's like,
right after.
I think it might have been kinder to just knock Jorah over the head and knock him out before starting doing that thing, because it looked painful.
But we're like I said or started saying, we're used to seeing that kind of stuff now because of last episode. This was nothing.
Nah,
compared
cool.
to that, because that was much longer compilation with poo and food and pee and puke all together in a big mushy thing. You didn't know what was what.
And intestines, livers, and hearts.
I kind of liked looking at him picking off those scales stuff.
I guess it's kind of like, when you pluck your own scabs and you shouldn't, but you still do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, and you just watch underneath and look like,
that's how it looks like.
I don't do that.
Okay.
I'm weird.
Well, I do it too.
I like it.
But I like popping pimples though, so it's kind of in the same alley. Anyway,
Living Turquoise is saying, "Oh my god, that scene was gross. Eat breakfast. I'm not going to eat again during this season."
I agree.
It's a very, very good battle plan. Do not eat while watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Or if you think it's gonna go bad, just put your bowl away and be like, or pause, eat, and then continue watching.
Finish your meals.
What do we think will happen? Will Sam be able to cure Jorah?
I kind of hope so. I want him to do that. I mean,
I hope so.
But what will Jorah do? Like, if he gets cured, what will be
he's
his
gonna run
purpose?
straight to Daenerys.
Yeah, because that was what she ordered him to do. I order you to find a cure and return to me once you've cured yourself. That is his mission.
He would have done it without the order.
Yeah, he probably would have.
He loves her, so.
Yeah.
Alex says, "I think this season's theme is to gross us out as much as they can, since there is less nudity." Yes.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen the two writers of Game of Thrones at interviews?
No.
I tried. They are a very good team. So that might be a very, very plausible situation you have there, Alex. I think you're onto something.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen 1 or 2 interviews, but I try not to watch too many just because I don't want to get spoiled too much.
But they don't spoil though. They don't. They're not allowed to say anything. Yeah, but it's just the dynamic of them. They're really fun guys. Yeah, it seems like. But where do we think the courage of Sam all of a sudden comes from? Where has he found it?
I think it has a lot to do with Gilly and the kid, and the fact that they look up to him so much, and she sees him like this great brave hero, and I think he's never felt like that before, and I think that kind of helps to drive him. And he also knows that Jon is really depending on him to help.
He has probably found this purpose, some sort of purpose in his life, and he's never had that before because he's just
but
been...
I think he actually, ever since he rescued Gilly from her own father and killed that White Walker and stuff like that, he has just been more and more brave.
Yeah,
he has.
He's definitely grown a lot as a character.
He has, and I'm really excited for him, and also starting to like him very much. And that's also scary because that makes him a possible murder subject
Yes.
of the Game of Thrones machine. So it's scary.
Yeah. Living Turquoise is saying about Jorah. He is Daenerys' puppy, so if he survives, he is going to her. If not, I'm going to get extremely surprised.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go to Cersei and be her puppy. No.
I mean, he might go to Cersei to,
kill her. Yeah. All right.
For Daenerys.
But then it's the Arya scene. Arya at the tavern scene.
Isn't it? Is it? Oh yeah, it is. Never mind.
And she is meeting up with her pie serving friend, and they're just having this. And they're having this talk about about pies, and she comments, "Oh, this is good." He's like, "Oh, it's because I browned the butter," and she's like, "Yeah, whatever." But what is funny, because this came to me, and the thing is, this is exactly what he bored Brienne with when Brienne stopped at this tavern a few seasons ago. It's the exact same conversation.
That's cute.
Yeah, that was just a fun fact. But now Arya learns about Winterfell.
Yes.
And Jon Snow.
Yes. Not Sansa, though. She hasn't heard anything about that.
But the thing is, when Sansa was moved to Winterfell, they had Sansa disguised, so there's really nobody who knows that Sansa's there.
No.
Except for,
the Bannermen. And
yes.
Yeah.
And Littlefinger.
Yeah.
And whoever he has told.
Yeah. You never know.
But what I found funny is that you could really see that light switch in Arya, kind of at the moment she got to know that Jon Snow is still alive and he has Winterfell.
She's like, "You're joking. You're fucking with me," basically.
Yes.
That was very funny.
And that was really, really a really nice scene because, maybe we'll get a family reunion.
Yes, I hope so. I really do.
Mm-hmm. And what I also noticed is that Arya has a lot of coins with her.
Mm-hmm.
And we never got to see what she did with, the knights.
Lannister soldiers?
Yeah, because they're not with her right now. And you would maybe think that they were headed the same way. And she suddenly had a lot of coins with her, so I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, but she might have stolen that from Walder Frey, to be fair.
Ah, that's true.
It's
that's
possible.
True. She might have. I guess it's just up to each and everyone out there to decide themselves what Arya did.
Yeah, I don't think she killed the soldiers just because they hadn't really done anything to hurt her then and there, and I doubt it. But I mean, you never know. She could.
Yeah. What do we think about her turning around though, changing her plans?
So, I think we called it last episode. We talked about that if she learns that Jon or Sansa is alive, she's going to head to Winterfell.
Yes.
So we saw that coming.
We did.
Yes. So yeah, not much to say about that beyond the fact that we saw it coming.
Yeah, but Jon might probably not be there when she gets there, but Sansa might. And that's really interesting about the whole, Littlefinger theory that we had last time.
Yes.
I hope she kills him.
That would be.
I mean, I'm. He is a bad guy, but I'm kind of fond of Littlefinger too.
Nope.
But I have a thing for assholes, so.
You guys just wait. But then after this scene, we see Arya riding off the opposite way of the Lannister people heading to King's Landing.
Yeah.
And then we see Jon getting the raven about Dragonstone from Sam.
Yes.
That Dragonstone is built upon dragonglass. And then we have this whole scene with the whole council of people in the town hall. Let's just call it that. And
the Great Hall, basically, of Winterfell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one, the outcome of this, we actually predicted last time.
Yes, we did.
After some discussion with Alex, that is.
Yes, because we talked about the fact that we think that Jon would either Jon or Sansa would head to Dragonstone and leave the other one behind to rule the North, and we ended up thinking that Jon Snow will probably go and leave Sansa behind in charge.
Mm-hmm. And that probably means that Brienne also is fucked this season.
Oh no!
By all the good people. Jesus.
Yeah.
But what do we think about this scene? Because there's several concerns from the council.
Yeah.
In this scene, and one of them is that when Rickard Stark, Sansa and Jon's grandfather, got sent to King's Landing, he got roasted by the Mad King when he got there, by one of his dragons. Yeah, and they're afraid that this might happen to Jon as well because Daenerys has dragons, and
she's a Targaryen.
She's a Targaryen, yes, and you can't trust the Lannister, and the note was from Tyrion himself, so...
Yeah, they weren't really fond of the idea, but I will say that Jon did a very good job of explaining why he had to go, even though it's not really a good idea, because every time a Stark decides to go alone to see someone about something, they end up dead.
Yes.
So
this is very true.
So we'll see how that goes, but he did a good job of explaining that we need that dragon glass if we're going to defend the North. If we're going to win, we have to have it.
Yes. Do we think that he will get some bumps in the road? Do we think that he turns up in Dragonstone the next episode, or will it take longer?
I know. He will go down to the south. And he will meet up with those guard dudes that we saw Arya meeting up with, and they will attack him. And then Arya's like, "Oh no!" and she will kill them.
Oh, that would be something. That would be something.
And they meet up and they go to Dragonstone together.
Also, Turquoise says Littlefinger can get barbecued by Daenerys' dragons. He doesn't like Littlefinger at all.
Yeah, they should have sent Littlefinger down there.
Yeah.
No, not barbecued, just chewed up.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah, no, he deserves a horrible and brutal death. He is an asshole. He's a horrible, horrible person, but he's intriguing in many ways.
Yeah. And also, Daenerys, she doesn't know about the White Walkers yet.
No, she doesn't.
Do we think that she will help Jon when she discovers that threat? Or is she too driven to get the throne?
I think that depends very much on what Tyrion and Melisandre has to say about it. Those are the two people who already know Jon Snow, and Melisandre also knows about the White Walkers. And Tyrion has been to the Wall, so he's seen some shit too. So I think it will be very dependent on what those two will say and how much he listens to them.
Yeah.
I think that she will want to take the throne first, or at least eliminate Cersei or something before taking the White Walkers. That's my belief, though, unless she borrows one of her dragons to Jon.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. What if Jon actually is a dragon rider and actually gets to borrow a dragon? That would be kind of cool.
That would be cool. Dreams.
So we do think that this meeting will end up well, and they will team up, or
maybe. But I mean, I'm positive at least, because I think.
No.
What?
I know. She's going to roast him, and then she discovers that he's Targaryen because he doesn't catch fire.
Maybe Jon Snow can't burn.
But he is resurrected by the Lord of Light, so he is basically fire. So even though he's not Targaryen, it might mean that he is resistant to fire anyways.
Yeah, and Alex is also saying that Daenerys did have a vision of the Wall a couple of seasons ago, and she also had, like, she walked through a snowy throne room in King's Landing in one of her, when she was going through the House of Day and Night. In Karth? No,
the House of Undying.
Yeah, the House of the Undying. Yes, that's what I mean. The House of the Undying. So that might have been a forewarning that she might remember or have like flashbacks to when and if Jon arrives at Dragonstone.
it might be easier for her to actually believe him, like maybe because she has had these visions earlier.
Yeah.
So I can't wait for this meeting. It's gonna be exciting.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yes.
And then we have one of the creepiest scenes, but one of the most badass scenes in this entire episode, and it is the crypt beneath Winterfell. Jon is paying respect to his father, and
poor old Ned.
And Littlefinger suddenly shows up.
Yeah.
And he's being creepy. He's being like, it's because of me you have your father's bones buried here. I loved your mother so much. Oh my God, Jon. And he's like, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, fuck off, basically. Fuck off.
And he's just trying to sweet talk to Jon and trying to like think that he's portraying himself as some sort of saint. But Jon is not buying it.
No.
What do you think of this?
Because Littlefinger was the cause of his father's death.
Yeah,
but does Jon know this?
I don't think Jon knows that yet. But the thing is, Jon has seen how Littlefinger looks at Sansa, and he knows what Littlefinger felt for Catelyn Stark. But
Jon has always seen things from the outside, and he has never been talked to by a Littlefinger. So I think that Jon knows that Littlefinger, he has never paid me as much as a look before, but I have always been here, but you have never cared about me. You've only talked to my other siblings and my other people. So why should I listen to you now? Because you clearly don't care about me. You just care about me now because I have power.
Yeah, and he's leaving Sansa up in the north in charge, and I do think that Littlefinger wants her to be in charge so he can marry her, so he can get to power through her, because he can't get to power on his own way because he's too scared of taking it by force. So he's taking it by, being sneaky.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be able to marry Sansa at all, because Jon would never agree to it, and Sansa would never agree to it. So I don't think that's even remotely close to happening, even though that's...
No, I think he's trying to sweet talk Jon into liking him so that maybe he can put in a good word with Sansa for him, perhaps. But, I think that Jon, through his schemes and his soft honey words and stuff like that, and just sees him for what he really is, an opportunist and a scoundrel.
Yeah. For sure. But I think Littlefinger underestimated Jon Snow. He wasn't expecting to be, chokehold towards a crypt
he was
wall.
not expecting the silent child to just suddenly hold him in a chokehold. And Greta is saying in the chat that I saw a collage of all the people who have had Littlefinger in a chokehold for the seasons.
It's quite a list.
Quite a list. I want to see that collage.
Yeah, I want to see that too. Yeah, he really knows how to push people's buttons, for sure.
Yeah, but what do we think will happen to Littlefinger?
I think Littlefinger is going to come to a very violent and brutal end. I'm not sure when, but I think that's what's going to happen to him.
I really hope that Arya gets to Winterfell and that Sansa and Arya kind of sister teams up against Littlefinger. And,
if Arya kills him, she could wear his face afterwards and make... I know.
That would have been so awesome.
That would be so cool.
Shit, but that also might get Arya killed.
Well, it could, but I mean, it at least gives her the possibility to actually get into enemy territory, because Littlefinger has always been able to sneak his way into Cersei's inner circles.
Maybe that will be her way to Cersei.
Yeah. What if that happens? Holy shit.
That would have been so cool. Maybe we cracked the code now. I'm not sure.
Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know. That was just something that suddenly struck me. Like, what? What if?
Yes.
What if? Okay.
Next scene: Arya and Nymeria,
yes!
the wolf.
I called that one too.
Yes, this is one of the things that me and Alex was referring to that we did not talk about because you guys hadn't seen the preview of the next episode thing. And so I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah, I hadn't seen the trailer, but as soon as I saw her setting up camp alone and the horse being all like jittery and like, oh, something's coming, I was like, Nymeria. And my husband was like, what? Who? What? You know, her dire wolf from season 1? Who's like, oh, shit, yeah, it's Nymeria. Yes. It has to be.
Yes. And, but it's not really Nymeria, though, because she has also gotten a new life with a super pack.
But I really liked the comment that she makes to the wolf, because Arya says, come girl, I'm going north, come with me. And then Nymeria runs away, and then Arya says, no, that's not you. And that's exactly what she said to Ned in season 1 when he said that she would become a wife and have kids and whatever. And she said, no, that's not me.
Exactly.
And I loved that connection so much.
It was really great. I really want us to see more of the super pack. That would be so awesome. But it is expensive for the creators to make this. So I don't think we will see much of it, but if it's gonna be a big fight somewhere in the north, I do believe that the super pack will at least once come to rescue.
Yeah. I mean, in the books, they are mentioned that, like, not specifically that it's Nymeria, but it is mentioned that there is talk of a dire wolf and a wolf pack that is terrorizing the countryside and the woods and stuff. It's never mentioned who it is or exactly when and where, but it is mentioned, so I'm guessing that's where they got it from, at least.
Yes. And she grew so huge. Yes, she did, Alex. She grew so huge, and I can't wait to see more, because that can't be it. We have to see more of the super pack. It has to happen.
Please, more Nymeria. Yes, we want it.
But at least now we know that Arya is closing in, because it's winter where she is.
Yeah.
That means she might arrive at Winterfell next episode. Or she might meet up with Jon. Who knows?
Who knows? Oh, that would be so good if they just met out on the road, like, oh, my heart, be still, my heart.
But I do believe that if Jon meets Arya, he will tell her about Sansa. Yeah. And Sansa is probably more important to Arya than Jon is, I think.
Yeah, that depends. I mean, because Jon was the first and only one to really believe in Arya. He got her sting.
Yeah, that's true.
So
and Arya and Sansa didn't really part on good terms.
No, they didn't. Last time Arya saw Sansa, she was still a spoiled little brat who, believed that, oh no, my Prince Joffrey can do nothing wrong. So yeah.
You know that Sophie Turner actually has said that if she could bring someone back to the series, it would be Joffrey.
Why?
And that's just because she loved to work with the actor who plays Joffrey, because he was such a great guy to act with.
Yeah, Jack Gleason, I think is his name.
Yeah,
he's supposedly a really, really nice guy. He just doesn't like all the attention.
Very true. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is the finale of this episode, because that is the Greyjoy fleet versus Greyjoy fleet.
Yeah, Euron versus Yara.
Yes, and we're gonna just take this slow. We're gonna talk about this step by step, because this is a big scene.
Yeah,
and it's the first real fight we have this season, and it does not disappoint. It is great. It's magnificent, and it's the first sea battle that we have. And what I really liked about the beginning of the scene is that we can see where all the major characters are. We know where everyone is.
Yeah.
And that is very important, because later there will be chaos, and if we didn't know where everybody was, we wouldn't have understood the scene the same way, I think.
Yeah, Greta just said in the chat, finding Theon.
Very true.
I've seen so many Theon memes on the internet this week. I found one that has pictures of car keys, a phone, the Avatar, and Theon, and it just says, things that disappear when you need them the most.
Exactly. We'll get to that.
Yes.
But the first thing that happens, just like this normal Game of Thrones thing, Yara and I'd never remember her face's name.
Elaria.
Thank you. They're getting it on. Theon is getting bored or annoyed by them, and right as things are getting steamy between Yara and Ilaria,
yeah, hostile invasion.
It just says boom, and there's fire everywhere, and this huge pirate boat just kind of crashes into their boat, and we see like this huge kraken like
symbol
claw things,
yeah,
that kind of just goes down from the boat just to attach their boat to the other, like bridges, and we just hear this magnificent scream. And I'm not kidding you, I got chills when he was like standing there like, Aah! And I was like, oh my god. The thing is though, I don't know what it is, but I never really, when I see guys or actors or characters, there's really seldom that it happens that I'm like, oh my god, that's a sexy man beast.
yeah.
And this happened.
But Euron Greyjoy, yes. He is a sexy rock and roll man beast.
And I'm not sure how to feel about it, because
No.
I'm rooting for the guy. He's my new favorite character. I love him. It's weird.
I don't love him, but that is one sexy motherfucker, yeah. Greta says, the flying vagina kraken.
Oh, yeah. But the thing is, like, he just comes onto the boat and he just bull rushes the whole thing. It's not like, hey guys, I'm gonna attack now. Oh no, are you attacking? He just like straight in, and they bulldoze everything over. They don't stand a chance.
Oh, before we move away from, sexy beasts, I do have to say that Ilaria Sand is a sexy beast. Like, she's got it going on, in my opinion.
Yeah, I guess she's all right. But that's the thing. It's like, it's really, it doesn't really happen for me often that I find characters that is amazing. And Ilaria, sure, she's pretty and all, but I don't care. Fair hair.
Nah, no, I don't like her as a character. I just think she's sexy. That's all. But Euron is a character that I like, even though he is an asshole and crazy.
True.
Yeah. And Greta says that the Greyjoy Kraken looks like ovaries.
It sort of does, I guess.
And Alex says Euron is supposedly worse than both Joffrey and Bolton, according to the actor who plays him.
Yeah, but I think he is described worse in the books.
Yeah.
Than he is in the series.
Yeah, he's definitely more handsome in the series than he is described in the books. That's for sure.
But it's not that he's handsome, but I don't know. It's just like he's got crazy. He's got those crazy eyes.
Yeah. Damn those crazy eyes.
Yeah. But after a while, what are you laughing about now?
Because we both went synchronized. That's why I laughed. Okay, moving on.
Yes. Then we have some fighting, some people dying, really pirate style of fighting, and we also see that Euron, he has a huge two-handed axe that he wields, and that kind of just builds onto the rock star thing, because he has a rock star image. He looks like a modern rock star, and he has an axe.
Yes,
come on,
exactly, two-bladed axe.
Jesus.
Yes.
And we also get to see the sand snakes. We saw earlier in the scene just chilling in their beds, and now they're up fighting. One of them runs to their mother, and two of them stays on deck to fight. And you have one of them who wields a spear, which is good, because that's nice. And the other one has a whip. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing with a whip on a boat fighting pirates who has swords?
Exactly. What do you think you're going to do, little girl? It's like, you might be the big shit at home in the desert where you come from fighting with your sisters, but this is a fucking pirate ship battle.
Yeah, your whip's gonna do nothing.
Exactly.
And it does.
A whip is quite powerful. They're usually used to subdue lion and tigers, so they hurt as fuck.
Yeah, no,
we know that.
But it is very, very useless in close combat.
Yes,
That's
exactly. That's what we're saying. You can't use it on a boat. It makes no sense.
Surrounded by several enemies. I mean, you're flanked.
Didn't she have a dagger too, though?
Yeah, but what the fuck are you going to do with that tiny little dagger compared to that big battle axe? I mean, like, you're screwed.
Yeah.
But I really like that their scene got cut short. That it wasn't like dragged out and they got to do a lot of stuff. Because it really shows how brutal Euron is. And he even got, he got whipped and he got cut by the dagger. And he just brushed it off like it was nothing. So
he's better.
He's this kind of, I don't know, if this was D&D, he would definitely have Bull Rush.
Yeah, for sure.
And he would be a berserker or something.
Yeah, he's berserker mode, all right.
Yes,
for sure.
Because he doesn't care.
You would know all about that. All right, yeah, no, and then what we end up seeing basically is that Yara is captured by Euron, and Theon is kind of put to the wall, like, what you gonna do? And what does he do? He just tosses himself over the side of the ship and disappears into the water.
You can clearly see that he loses his Theon. You can see Reek just building back into him, and it's his Reek kind of reactions that takes over. And what did he do the last time he was in trouble? And to get away from that trouble, he ran away. And Sansa, they jumped from
the castle wall at Winterfell.
The castle wall. Yeah. So what does Reek know? Reek knows how to jump off of things, I guess.
Well, I think that actually this is kind of like don't get me wrong, but I think it's deserved that his sister sees that you didn't fix him at all. You just like told him to man up, but he's deeply traumatized. He cannot possibly get a grip on with this trauma he's had. He's not well. He's still deeply traumatized, and when he gets into that position with another something or worse, of course he's gonna run. He's not gonna put himself up against a person like that again. So his reaction,
completely understandable.
Totally understandable.
But poor Yara, who discovers that she put her faith in the wrong man too soon.
Yeah, well, she did nothing to help him, so
very little. Very little. And also what you see sort of at the same time as this is going on between Euron, Yara, and Theon, Ilaria and one of her daughters get captured below deck. They don't get killed that we can see, so I'm guessing that they're being taken to King's Landing along with Yara as a present for Cersei, so Euron can marry her.
Yeah, of course. She's the perfect present. She killed her daughter.
Yes, and this Anita actually predicted the last episode.
Yes,
so good. Kudos.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of did. But I will say that I am not sad that two of the Sand Snakes are dead, because I didn't really care for them at all. It's like, meh.
No, they're cool characters.
Yeah, sure.
It's like when Oberyn died, I cared for Oberyn because he was awesome.
Amazing.
But the Sand Snakes, they've just been filled with hatred ever since. The only thing that they have known what to do is like kill and take revenge,
and also Oberyn was very much on the sexy man beast list as well.
But
sure.
still,
I didn't like that.
You didn't like Oberyn?
I didn't no, I loved Oberyn. But of course I didn't predict that he was going to die in his scene. But anyways, but I did not like the Sand Snakes either, because and not her her face again, because they were just like backstabbing and vengeful and sourpusses, just hating every man in the world. I mean, they killed their own father or something, or brother, or who he was. He who was the king.
He was their uncle.
Or prince. Killed the prince just because they meant he was too peace loving. I mean, come on.
Yeah, he was soft, and Dorne isn't a soft country, so pretty much no one in Dorne really understood why he was ruling the way he did. So they just decided, let's get rid of him.
Yeah, well, I didn't like them at all.
I don't really care for the Sand Snakes either, but it's like they're cool characters either way. And I think it's nice to see that women also can be badass and not only wear cute dresses and be princesses.
Yeah, no, I really like the way that they were portrayed, like they, were very much in charge of their own sexuality and and badass in their own right when it comes to fighting and standing up for what they believe in and stuff. They weren't, I didn't feel anything for them, unfortunately. But maybe if we had gotten more time and gotten to know more about them.
Maybe, but I think they were portrayed like, grumpy kids rather than strong female warriors, because they were so angry and so snappy all the time. I mean, I was tired of listening to them because all they did was argue with each other, and all they did was
mama's girl, me. It was immature.
Was like, oh my god, shut the fuck up! You're so annoying.
Isn't that what sisters do though? I don't know. I don't have any siblings, so
I have siblings, but they're all boys except for a 6-year-old, so I don't know either.
Yeah, but I don't really think they were that good at fighting. They did so many weird stuff, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just didn't like them at all.
Anyway, I really think it's cool when you see like Euron's boat floating away, and 2 of the sand snakes are mounted in front of the boat, the 2 that's dead. So we do know that they are dead at least, and they are like portrayed as like figurines for Cersei to see first, and then I'm not sure what's gonna happen next, but I guess the 3rd sand snake also will die in front of her mother, probably by Cersei's hands or the mountain. And I'm not sure if she's gonna kill I don't remember her name.
Ellaria.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's hard to say. If she ends up killing Yara and Ellaria, I think it's going to be a very public thing.
Yes.
I think she wants to humiliate them as much as possible and cause as much pain as possible. And also, yes, that boat is really, really cool. Or ship, rather. We should call it.
This sort of made me realize something, why I think I like Euron so much. Because he's probably the first person that I've seen that I've been like this stoked about since Jack Sparrow. And that's many years ago. And there's really, like I said earlier, there's very seldom, it doesn't happen that I'm really falling for the character, but this one I just like him. But I think it might be a pirate thing.
Yeah, chicks dig pirates, isn't that what they say?
It would be cool to put his Euron ship against the the Flying Dutchman. No, but the David Locker's ship.
Yeah, Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman. That's the one.
Those 2 ships against each other. That would be cool.
I actually think Euron's ship it's more badass. It has more sails.
Yes. More sails must be better.
No, put them against each other in a fight. Who would win?
Euron. Beauty
contest.
No. Just because he plays dirty and Will is too, like he's too kind. He plays too. He doesn't play dirty enough.
I mean, the Flying Dutch before Will.
Well, then maybe hard to say, because they're kind of immortal as long as they're on that boat. So they're Flying Dutchman.
But let's get back to Game of Thrones here, because that's what we're doing here.
Yes.
And that is basically what we see. But what do we think Cersei will do with her prizes? Will she marry Euron? How will she react?
That's the question. I mean, she might feel like she doesn't really have much of a choice than to marry him, or at least say that she's going to marry him, but she's not going to be happy about having to make that choice, I think, because she doesn't really want to share power anymore. She's sick of being someone's queen. She wants to be the queen.
Yes.
That's what I think.
But she does need heirs, though.
Yeah.
But I don't think she cares about that anymore.
No.
She doesn't. I don't think she cares.
I think she might just string Euron along and decide to, like, I'll just kill him off later when I feel like it or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe she doesn't realize.
Wouldn't that be fun if it came back to bite her in the ass?
That would be very funny.
But if Cersei and Euron becomes some sort of couple, I do think this will bother Jaime a lot.
Oh yeah.
And this will probably make Jaime further away from Cersei. And might be another part to turn him against her, I guess.
Rebecca says that I think Cersei marries him, kills him, and calls it an accident, because then she'll have his army. Yes, that's
true.
It could
but
happen.
I'm not sure if Cersei can handle pirates, though, because
there's that.
There's that. Also, Rebecca said something earlier. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but anyone here figured out how the White Walkers are going to get to Winterfell and take over the world?
Well, we kind of touched upon that in the last episode.
Around the wall.
Yeah, they're going around the wall to Eastwatch by the sea, most likely, because that's what the Hound saw in the flames in episode 1. So that's how we think they're getting through.
Yes.
Yes.
And then they'll just continue walking and growing a bigger army.
Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. I mean, like, the war with the White Walkers is going to be one of the big showdowns. Probably in next season. Is my guess. Mm-hmm. And also Greta said that Euron is a mix of Ewan McGregor and Eddie Izzard. Good combo, she thinks. Yeah,
I agree.
I see it. I totally see it.
Yeah, it's not like I don't really think he looks sexy. It's just that his being is sexy.
Yeah, the character is sexy.
Yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, the styling definitely helps, for sure.
No, not for me, really. He just reminds me of a version of... what's his name? He was married to Katy Perry at one point.
Oh, Russell Brand.
Russell Brand. He reminds me of Russell Brand.
Oh, no, he doesn't remind me of Russell Brand at all. I hate Russell Brand. He's awful.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. He's a cool character, and I like him.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm gonna hate him as much as Joffrey or...
No, probably not.
Or Ramsay, at this point, at least.
Oh, Greta also says, imagine the wonderful murdered children, Lannister pride and Greyjoy crazy.
Oh, yeah, that would be something. They shouldn't be allowed to get born. They should be aborted just by, existing.
Divine intervention.
Yes. That would be horrible.
Yes.
Horrible. Okay. Horrible. New word.
Right. Okay.
Oh my god, I just realized something.
What?
What if the White Walkers get to King's Landing and resurrect the dragon bones?
I think it's too late. I think there's a statute of limitations.
But what if it's possible? I mean, the Night King or whatever, he's quite powerful. He got real magic. I mean, I think he could do it.
But there are just skulls there. There aren't any whole bodies or anything. So I don't think that could happen. But it's an interesting thought.
I mean, it would be like Lich King from World of Warcraft.
It would.
Yes. Do we have any other predictions for the next episode?
Oh, wow. Well, I think Euron and Cersei, the showdown, is going to happen, at least. I'm pretty sure of that.
And I do think the Dothraki horde will attack Castle Rock. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, I think so, too. And, well, I'm not sure if Jon and Daenerys will meet in the next episode, but probably the episode after that, maybe.
And Littlefinger will make a move on Sansa.
Probably. Greta says, the Cersei Euron ship is real to me, and the Greyjoys know their ships. That is true, they do. Oh, this will be very interesting.
Also, if there's anyone who wants to come on and talk a bit with us.
Alex just messaged me and said, just let me know if you want Easter eggs.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. I'll send Alex the link. And if anyone else of you in the chat want to drop in by and share in on the discussion with some of your viewpoints, let me know and I'll send you a link and you can come on and talk to us. And it'll be funsies.
Ooh, Living Turquoise is predicting Arya meeting Snow.
Yeah, I think that might happen next episode too. I agree.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to cut my time here short because internet line is laggy as fuck and my boyfriend is complaining. And
he's raiding.
I'm tired. So.
Yeah, that's okay.
But you guys have a lot of fun with your Easter eggs and discussions.
Yes, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, there's one more thing we didn't talk about, though.
Okay. What is that?
That is most probably Davos and Melisandre might meet next episode as well.
There's that. That could be really explosive.
Yes.
They hate each other.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. You have come to regale us with your Easter eggs.
Yeah. Let's see. I wanted... Again, I've taken some notes. I had some notes that I took during the episode and some while you were talking.
Awesome.
First thing I wanted to talk about is they have confirmed who Jon Snow's father is.
Mm-hmm.
Not on the show, but HBO released like a family tree.
Oh, cool.
That is like, it looks like a ring with like different colored stuff. And on that one you see one of them going from Jon to is it Aegon his name is? Aegon Targaryen?
Yeah.
Daenerys' brother.
No, yeah, Aegon or Rhaegar, I don't remember.
Rhaegar,
yeah.
I mean, Rhaegar. Daenerys' brother, and so basically they have outside of the show been like, yeah, that's his father, he is a Targaryen. So that thing isn't really up for debate anymore.
Haha, yay, clarity!
Unless you like don't care about that and only watch the show, I guess you're still like questioning who his father is. But if you've read the books and stuff, it's not really a question anymore. Another one is like there's a couple things in this episode that where they have kind of tried to level the playing field between Cersei and Daenerys, because in the first episode Daenerys seemed quite overpowered. But we need to remember that there is three kingdoms that still support Cersei, even though we don't really see them that much. That Jaime talks about in the first episode.
Yeah.
So there is still three kingdoms that is like still loyal to the throne. So she isn't that hopeless as she might seem. It seems like another thing I wanted to mention. Am I the only one that actually enjoyed that scene between Grey Worm and...
No, the thing is, I do find the scene cute. And I did enjoy it, but it was like, I just found it a bit unnecessary long. They could have cut it after, like, they kind of just took it off each other's clothes, because it's quite obvious what will happen next, if you know what I mean. Because I feel like they just put the sex in there just because.
I kind of found it oddly cute. And also, it's not often you see a person that has, like, had some sort of mutilation done to their body, like, accept it and be okay with it. And I just, it felt like such a touching scene when he at first was like, no, I don't want to get all naked. And she was just like, no, it's fine. I love, like, all of you. And I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, but I agree. It was a very sweet moment. It's just, as Sunniva said, it was a little bit long, and I didn't feel like I needed to see all the nudity. That's
true.
It would have been stronger for me with just that touching moment right before the sex stuff happened.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, but I thought it was a really big deal for the characters. It was very nice character development.
Yeah. Let's see the next thing. Yeah, when Sam and the Archmaester is picking out books. You mentioned the History of Lannister book.
Yes.
The funny thing about that book is that it talks about Robert's rebellion. And there might be more details in there than what Sam already knows. So there might be a second person that comes to the same conclusion as Bran did. So that is a possibility. That it might not be only Bran, because Sam is quite smart, so he might put two together and be like he might not know the context as being good, because Bran knows that it was a loving thing, it seemed like.
Yes.
But how the history talks about it is much more negative, so he might be under the impression that Lyanna was raped, and that's how Jon came to the wall. But we know that they were in love and ran off together. So it's a different kind of view if he finds out about it, but we'll see, because he's now done two things that might get him in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, that's something I think we'll probably see next episode too, is what happens to Jorah after the operation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're rooting for him.
Yes.
Yeah, since it's getting closer to the end, there is a lot of time skipping. But the whole thing with Jorah seems like it takes a lot of time, so it might not happen next episode, maybe 2 episodes. But again, the time skipping is all over the place at the moment.
Yeah,
so
it's hard to tell.
Another thing, in this episode there is a lot of references to the past, all over the place.
Yes.
I think we've never had an episode that is so much talking about former things that is parallels to what is happening now. They keep referencing the Mad King, Robert's Rebellion. The last time they referenced Robert's Rebellion so often was in season 1, and that was when it has only recently happened. So there is something going on, because everyone keeps bringing up the past. So something is going to repeat that hasn't happened from Robert's Rebellion.
Yeah.
So, and Theon, that moment when he jumped off the boat.
Yeah, I mean, I just went no, why?
I saw that some people was mad at him, and I was just I would have been more mad if he stayed on the boat, because it would have been such an unrealistic reaction for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that is one of the problems with the TV show, is that they make every character more attractive, because they want it to be a spectacle for your eyes.
Yes.
But Reek/Theon in the books, he looks much more damaged, so you don't need to remind yourself all the time how badly he got treated, because in the books his hair has almost gotten white from the amount of stress and torture he's been through. But in the show he looks so much better, so you're just oh, maybe he's completely fine. No, his PTSD is still through the roof. So I would have been madder if he stayed on the boat.
Yeah,
but
that's
now
true.
now he can survive and maybe have the opportunity to do the same thing as his sister tried to do, which is save him.
Exactly.
I
think if he had stayed on the boat and tried to save Yara, I think both of them would have ended up dead.
Yeah, I think so too. We have not seen the last of Theon Greyjoy.
No. They kept the camera on him for so long when he was holding onto that driftwood and looking at Euron's boat. And I think some people are confusing why that battle happened and like the scale of it, because people are like, oh, so every one of Theon's ships are destroyed, and that might not necessarily be the case, even though you see fire everywhere, because Euron is so obsessed with getting Cersei's favor. He has a giant fleet. His ships is like, you can see it. They use the scale comparison really well in this episode, so you see how intimidating Euron's ships look compared to Theon's and Yara's. But he could have easily tried to wipe out every ship because they are close to each other. But he just went straight in, got what he wanted, and went straight out. He doesn't care about winning the war. He could have destroyed so much more while he was there, but he was just like, no, I want my
treacherous kin.
Yeah, because Yara is his. I don't know the correct term.
He is
niece.
Her uncle.
Yeah, she's his niece.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, niece was what I was having a brain fart moment. The
Yeah.
last thing I want to mention that I wrote at the bottom, and that is the last thing, so I'm done with my notes.
Cool.
Is that another reason why some people are freaking out about the book scene with Archmaester and Sam, and the fact that they reference the books kind of with the, oh, I would have broken a more poetic title.
Yeah.
Because there is a theory going around that everything that is written by J.J. Martin is supposed to be from Sam's perspective, so he is supposed to be the one writing the books.
Huh.
So people that like that theory, when they saw that scene, they were freaking out like, oh my god, it's confirmed. It's like Sam's point of view, he's the one writing this down, so everything you read in the books is him writing it down as a possibly Archmaester, like later down the road.
Yeah.
So
it's quite
people
possible.
were just like, yes.
So it would be like a Frodo, Bilbo Baggins moment here.
Yeah.
Yes, sort of. So some people dislike that theory because of it's sort of like, oh, but it's like a cheap, like Hobbit thing. But other people just love that theory, being like, oh, maybe Sam wrote it all.
Yeah, I think that would have been a nice touch. It's like, it doesn't matter if we get it confirmed or not, really. The thing is that it sounds to me like this is a theory that has been going on the internet for a while. And maybe the creators of Game of Thrones, I bet they have read it all. I bet they have checked out all the theories. And I think that sometimes they put out Easter eggs like this just to confuse people, or to make people happy, or, just to make everything possible.
Yeah, I mean, they
like,
yeah. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
They know about theories,
Yes.
but that is only from people bringing it up to them, because people writing shows and writers are technically, and usually it is involved in the contract, they are banned from on purpose searching up fan-related stuff related to whatever they are creating. Because I don't remember what show it was, but a couple years back, maybe like 10-15 years back, a fan sued a show because they claimed that a fan thing they had done had been taken by the actual creators of the show and almost made it word for word. So just to avoid being influenced by fan work, they avoid reading fan stuff altogether. And of course, as a fan, you're like, what? Do you not care about like fan stuff we make for you and stuff? But they need to be careful, because even though you don't mean to, they can sometimes get influenced by fan theories and fan fictions or whatever. So that's usually why in interviews, when interviewers bring up like theories and stuff, that they're either blissfully unaware for that reason because they want to avoid getting influenced, or they know of it because another interviewer has explained it to them.
Yeah.
And you have like the really big theories that they can't escape from when it comes to Game of Thrones, being the theory of Jon's parents and stuff that has been now slightly confirmed.
Yes.
But I think that's something that a lot of people maybe don't know is that is why writers like shy away from every theory under the sky. So, but yeah, it's a fun. I like that one with Sam being the one writing.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Everything you read about.
I think that's a nice. That would been a nice nice thing.
Yeah.
Because then we know he's gonna be all right, unless it's gonna be like one of these glowing moments, you know.
Yeah.
He's writing when he is. The Citadel is the only thing that's standing. And Sam is there writing his story, writing his books with White Walkers outside, and the last thing you will see is like they come, and then you just see like his writing is getting more and more blurred. And we never know what happens with the White Walkers. Who knows?
It'll be like the poor dwarves in, you know, the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what I was referencing.
Drums from the deep, they're coming. Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Rebecca sent me a link to the meme that I mentioned earlier. Things that disappear when you need them the most. Keys, wallet, phone, Theon. There, so everyone can see that now. Yeah.
Yes.
It's a thing.
It's
a thing.
But it's sad.
It's sad.
Very sad.
All right.
But it's funny because it's true. But still, it's like if he. I'm glad that he jumped. I like it when shows does things that you don't want them to do. Because that keeps you interested.
Yeah. Keeps us on our toes.
Another thing that I found interesting after watching it a couple of times is that the camera is insisting on showing them only from like where I am now and up. So Yara might have been like motioning to Theon being like, it's fine, save yourself, I don't want both of us to die. Because Euron could have just killed them both and be like, a Sand Snake is good enough. Another thing I liked with that battle is, and I think maybe that some book readers liked about that episode, is when we first got introduced to Euron, we were like, so he is supposed to be worse than Bolton? I don't really see it. And then we kind of saw his more cockier side last episode, but this episode you really saw like how insanely psychopathic he actually is, and I was just like, there we have what everyone has been waiting for. So
I loved it.
So I give kudos to the writers and how they made that last part of the episode, like showing how incredibly mad he actually is when like he is free to just go unhinged. So it's going to be like when they met in the throne room, they were kind of like playfully throwing sarcastic stuff back and forth. But when you have two personalities that are both so explosive, it either goes really well and they become the biggest power couple, or just everything blows up like a nuke.
I'm sort of rooting for the last one of those scenarios.
Yeah, another nuke goes off in King's Landing.
Because you know they're both they don't have anything to lose. They only want power, and they don't care because you know they don't care about anyone else but themselves, really. So they don't have any weak spots. So they will probably at some point blow something up.
Probably.
And another thing that I find scary with Euron, or that is something to note, is that we talked about how he's either just as bad or worse than Bolton and Joffrey. Both Joffrey and Bolton had certain ways to get closer to them and to tick them off. They had, if you want to say, certain triggers that made them easier to play their game. With Bolton, it was his relationship with his father, and with Joffrey, he just had a thin skin, basically.
Yes.
We still haven't seen a single thing where you can throw Euron off his game, which makes him even more dangerous than both Joffrey and Bolton.
Yes, very much so. But I think we should wrap it up there soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do agree with you, Alex. I do completely agree with you that Euron, he seems like a much scarier opponent than both Bolton and Joffrey. But I won't say that he's worse, because he hasn't really done anything that kind of... Of course, he has done something that's unbelievably horrible, but we haven't really seen him do anything mean-spirited that he does just to be mean, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, he usually has purpose when he
has purpose, and he does it because he has a personal reason for what he does. He don't just torture someone for fun, you know.
Yeah, but remember the scene from last episode when he talked about enjoying watching his own men get slaughtered.
Yeah, that's true.
By Jaime. Like, that is one thing. Like, Bolton implied that he liked that, but Euron just straight up said it in front of everyone and had no reason to hide it. Like,
yeah,
he's the closest to... Yeah, he has purpose, he has a reasoning for doing stuff, but if there's one person you want to say is a psychopath in Game of Thrones, he is the closest one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's
definitely. True. And I don't want to give anyone the wrong idea by me saying that I kind of like this character. It's just that he's kind of intriguing in a way, and I just find him very interesting. And
he's one of the most interesting characters.
Yes, and I in no way find his behavior
appealing,
attractive.
No.
Way, I don't. It's just that I kind of like the way that, I don't know, I just found him interesting. That's it.
Yeah.
And also his ex though, I wanted.
Yes.
I like how they shot the episode. Like, you can always see his ex when he was killing people. You can always see the detail. I was just like, this is like porn for weapon makers. Just like,
yes.
Oh my god. Or cosplayers.
Yeah.
It was a glorious axe.
Very much so. All right, I think that pretty much sums it up for us tonight. It's getting late. It's a Thursday. So we would like to thank you, Alex, for coming on with your Easter eggs again. Very much appreciated.
It was fun. Thank you for having me on again.
Yeah, you're welcome back anytime. Thank you to the people who have been active in the chat and who have been participating in the discussion with us. We will try to be back on next Thursday at the same time unless something comes up.
Or Wednesday.
Or Wednesday, if possible. We'll just have to wait and see how time shakes out. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
I can't wait for the next episode. Ah!